What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Flop. We're here. We're going to talk about stuff that we are totally not qualified to talk about, because that's what a podcast is people doing that. So we're stoked. Today we're going to be talking about how the new ACL bag manufacturing guidelines are affecting the community, bag manufacturers at large. So I'm really excited about this episode. Dad, what is going on?
Man, what is up? I'm so glad to be here filming another episode. I know we've been hit or miss as of lately, just being busy and life getting the best of us. So we're definitely excited to have this topic to talk about today, and to get in here and to give our unwanted opinions on this topic and this very controversial topic. And we're just so excited because we know people are going to come for us. So
Oh yeah, for sure. But we're the little guy, and that's who we're talking about today, is the little guy.
Right.
And it's important to us, as a community and as people that love this game. So before we get started, we've got a few things to talk about. So first, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Triple Crown. Thank you guys so much for partnering with us on this show. We love what you guys do, and we always appreciate your support. Also, we are very, very excited to announce a new partnership with Renown Bag Company. And we are super stoked about this. As you guys know, we not only love this game, but we love bags. We love different materials, different fills, different, ways to play this game with different bags. So, Dad, just kind of bring us into what this new partnership is, who is Renown Bag Company, and let's talk about it for a minute.
yeah, man. Okay, so two brothers in my area, local to me, started this company, and I have gotten a bit of a reputation as being a bag man around our neck of the woods, and
Fair
so just through casual conversations, I'm a talker. I like to talk to players and shoot the stuff, and so just through casual conversations, we would talk about bags and what I liked in bags, what I didn't like in bags, things like that. And then it was actually after these sort of conversations, giving my feedback and my opinions on things, that I was approached to help them kind of get their thing going. And you always, it's funny because around the boards, the people are always like, I'd love to start a bag company, and that would be awesome. And yeah, we should do that, and this, that, and the other. And usually it's just like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. Never talk about it again. So, when they mentioned to me that they were going to start a bag company and, would potentially like to have my feedback, and you and I specifically, because they know we like to test bags and we like to throw a bunch of different things, and we like to just know a little bit about everything, and wouldn't consider ourselves experts at all, but we love bags. So it was really nice when they reached out and they were like, so we're actually going to do this. And I was like, oh okay, well, great. So
Sweet.
I was super honored that they approached me to be part of it and to give my insight and opinion on materials, fills, footprints, things like that, all the key issues that you have when you're developing a new cornhole bag. So I was really, it was, like I said, it was really awesome to get to be able to be part of that process, and to be part of the process going forward as well. So they have a few, I guess they're not prototypes because they're named and everything like that, but prototypes because they don't actually have the stamp on them yet. Now, these will be ACO stamped bags. This bag company will be in the ACO, not in the ACL. So they will have an actual ACO stamp for the Pro Series that the ACO will require next season. So these will be a pro stamp bag that they could use in their pro events, on their live streams, things like that. These bags will be available. I don't have any on my person because the ones that I had and I was throwing to try out, I gave to you when we were
Yes,
at the
you
river.
did. And I am very excited to have them. So let's go ahead and check out some of these new bags. The first bag is the Renowned Lotus. So check out this super cool design. We've got this really cool lotus pattern. And so just tell me a little bit about this bag, Dad, and what's it similar to, how does it play, and what was the idea behind designing this bag?
Okay, absolutely. So when you're trying to get a fast bag, you have to factor in things, hole friendliness. You factor in ability to grab the hole, and so footprint's important as well. This Lotus bag has a 6-9 speed. I would say the thing that it would be comparable to for most players would be a Pro Sniper. I would say that it's a little more full than a Pro Sniper, but not as full as like a Sure Shot Loco. So,
I agree.
And you've got a set of locos up there, so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's got a little larger footprint than the Loco, but this bag is absolute hole magnet. I mean, if it gets close, it snatches the lip of the hole and goes. And so, these fabrics, it's not a groundbreaking fabric. Obviously, there are bags with these fabrics on them.
That's right.
And but the one thing you can say about them is they work. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. And so it's got it's got a disc fill in it, so it's going to flatten out. You're not going to get a lot of bounce. I haven't noticed a lot of bounce, and I throw a very flat bag, and so sometimes if you throw a flat bag, that is one of the drawbacks, is sometimes it can hit and bounce a little bit. I haven't noticed any bounce with it, and
no, me either.
It definitely has the ability to get through small openings. It definitely has the ability to collect, and if it gets close to the hole, it's going to fall in. So it's a great bag. Definitely keep your eyes open for that one. The other bag you have is the Renowned bonsai. And this bag is a carpet bag. This is a 4-9 speed bag. So it has it's got that fast material on the front that's going to allow you to push through piles of bags, or to push through or to cut through any kind of humidity. So that traditional carpet that we have on the back of this bag is going to work great in humidity and low humidity, I would say. Once boards start getting like wet, then that carpet's going to slow down. But this bag has a wider footprint, and then also has a disc small bead mix fill, so it is going to flatten out as well. Because one thing that we've noticed is that in asking questions and things like that, a lot of people want to throw carpet bags, but they don't like the fact that a carpet bag kicks. They don't like the fact that sometimes a carpet bag can be a little bouncy, and so we designed this bag to flatten out. So when you see it right there, like when you're holding it, I mean, you can see that
it's a bigger footprint for sure.
This is a bigger footprint bag. It's a bigger footprint bag. It's going to flatten out, and it is also very hole friendly because of that larger footprint. I've said on some other bags, like the Fire Ember has got a very wide footprint, and a lot of times when they get close to the hole, some fuller carpet bags will sit there and kind of stay. This one, you have the ability for the beads to kind of fall down to a corner and drop the bag in. So it's a very hole friendly bag. One that we do not have currently, or two other bags that we have in the lineup coming, are the Bonsai X, which is going to be a smaller footprint of that bonsai bag. So it's going to be a 4-9 speed bag, but it is going to have a slightly tweaked fill, and it's going to be a smaller footprint. So it will be the bag that will be better for like your roll shots, your cut bags, and things like that, where you're wanting you want to play a more traditional carpet style. Yeah. And then the other offering is going to be the Shinobi. Now the Shinobi is going to be the 4-7 speed carpet bag. And as of right now, that one is just going to be in the smaller footprint with the more traditional carpet style of play. Your flops, rolls, cut bags, things like that. So very excited to be partnered with these guys, and very excited to see what the future holds for Renown Bag Co. So thanks guys for believing in us and bringing us on to be part of your venture. So we're very excited.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm so excited about this. I really, really like these bags. I've been throwing them a lot, and I really think that I love this bonsai a lot. I think, when I first started playing, I've always, I was always attracted to the idea of a, what's this, like a 4-9? Is that what you said?
Yeah, a 4-9.
Yeah, so I've always been really attracted to the idea of throwing a carpet bag, but I can really, throw hard pushes if I need to with that quicker material. So, and it's definitely, the footprint's definitely good, and I like it a lot. I'm super excited about this.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah. So, moving on, we want to take some time to thank our watchers. And so we're just going to read an email that we got sent from one of our watchers that we just really appreciate. And it's kind of an experience that we hope all of you are having. But we really appreciate you reaching out. So, Dad, you can go ahead and read that.
Yeah, and we know the intro to this video is running a little bit long, but we had a lot of exciting information to kind of bring you guys up to speed on. So it's kind of like a state of the company meeting at the beginning, but it is not going to cut down on what we're going to talk about, the subject, the topic at hand. So just wanted to bring you guys all up to speed. So this message is from a big-time supporter, James. And I won't put his last name out there because I don't know if he wants his last name out there. But James sent me this, or sent us this message, sorry. And it just says, he's basically a backyard player. He's been practicing his backyard. He's been kind of hesitant to go to a blind draw because he didn't feel like he was ready. He didn't feel like he was good enough, and he was going to get out there and people were going to be mean or whatever. So he sent this message, and I just thought it was so awesome, and I shared it with Zach, and we both were just like, wow. And so it felt like it was important enough to read. So he says, so finally got tired of just practicing in my yard. Not that I got good or anything, but I'm definitely better than when I started. I got where I can beat Ghost 3 about half the time, but my misses aren't as bad, and I'm starting to look like I know how to play. LOL. I went to a blind draw, and I played about as well as I practiced. I went, which, of course, as you know, you play to the level of your preparation. We've said it a million times,
Impressive.
So that's the best result you can ask for, is to play as well as you practice, right?
Exactly.
So he said, I played as well as I practiced. I went 5-2 on the night, and my PPR was about a 3.46, so nothing impressive. But the guys were great, very welcoming and encouraging. A couple of people told me I played really good for a first-timer. I definitely will be going back. I mean, I already had the bug, but actually playing against people was so much more fun than practice, LOL. I had a couple of times where I tried some things that I knew I didn't have the skill set to try, but I couldn't help myself. He said, I attempted a couple of air mails when the board was totally blocked up, and obviously as soon as I missed them, I knew I should have just laid up and reduced the points I was giving up. But I went for the hole trying to get points, so I have to play smarter. I just want to say thank you for what you do. Your podcast and talking about everything in cornhole was a big inspiration for me, but also took away a lot of my fear of the unknown. I didn't come across anything last night that was unexpected, and that gave me confidence. I wasn't the best player, not even close, but I wasn't the worst player either, and that was a huge boost for me. If I had never found your podcast, I would have never attempted to get into this game any more than the occasional backyard barbecue or family get-together. I appreciate y'all and what you do. Keep up the good work. Or keep up the good work, and good luck. And I mean, it really just makes me like want to cry. I'm so excited, to me, I mean, that says volumes about what we're doing. And it's like things like that, is absolutely amazing to hear. And I gushed for the guy. I mean, my response to him was just, man, this is awesome. I'm so glad you stepped out and went to the draw. I had a feeling people would be welcoming and kind, as most of the community is amazing. There are always a couple of jerks, but for the most part, everyone wants to help and be supportive. There's no substitute for playing against other people. It's so fun and truly brings your play up a level. I love that you felt confident enough to try some tough shots, because that's how you get better. Playing smart comes with time. I'm a pretty analytical player, and I still make dumb mistakes from time to time, so that will improve with experience. Thank you for the support, and this is truly a wonderful message to receive. We love these stories, and if you're okay with it, I may read your message on the show. I won't give your name or anything, but just let me know. Thanks again, James. So, I mean,
thank you,
again,
James.
That's so
what a
cool
wholesome individual.
What a wholesome individual James is.
That's awesome. I hope he is amazing, in like 2 years from now, just crushing people to death.
Just absolutely just shattering souls when he steps up to the board.
Me too.
That's what we're speaking that into existence.
Yep. Look out for James.
Look out for James because he's coming.
And then the other thing was we wanted to shout out our new flop athlete. Not really, I'm just kidding, but he might as well be. Guy's name's Steven Rodriguez, and he has showed up on the podium twice in a flop T-shirt, not only on the podium, but in first place. And I cannot believe it. I'm glad that this show is helping somebody get better because it doesn't feel like we do, but, those that can't do teach, so.
Yeah, exactly. But this dude, it's like, that's his uniform. I don't think he plays cornhole without that shirt on.
God, we need to
get
him a jersey.
And I'm okay with it. I'm here for that. I know, we need to get jerseys. Hey, and I tell you what, I'll say it right now. When we get jerseys, we will send you one.
Yeah, for sure. You're getting better use out of it than we are.
I know. I wear my flop shirt all the time. Y'all see any pictures of me? Not unless I take it. Exactly. No, I'm gonna start taking my picture with my flop shirt on like this. Or like
7.
Got to do something. Anyway, thanks, Steven. Man, you are repping, and we love it. We are here for it.
Keep throwing smoke, man. That's freaking awesome. So now that we've had a 39-minute intro, we can go ahead and talk about what we're here to talk about, which is the new ACL guidelines for bag manufacturers. So, Dad, just from a bird's eye view, kind of bring us into what the new situation is and how it's going to affect the community as a whole.
Okay, so the ACL this year is instituting a tiered policy, and there are 3 tiers, and depending on which tier you're in, will be like how many bags that you will be able to have pro stamped versus how many bags comp stamped or rec stamped, or
it's all kind of revolving around the stamp.
Yeah, it's all stamp related pretty much. Mm-hmm. But not only is it stamp related, but it's also capacity related and number related. Yeah. So if you look at Tier 1, and I will read this. This is actually on the ACL bag manufacturer press release that they did. So this is coming directly from that. Tier 1 is you have to have the capacity of 500 sets of 4 bags per week. Ability to generate substantial licensing revenue. Average order turnaround time of less than 2 weeks. A maximum active series in a model year of 15. All can be eligible for ACL Pro Stamp. And the new application price to get into this tier will be a small $20,000.
A minuscule fee of $20,000.
So if you would like to be part of the Tier 1, start digging around in your couch cushions to collect this entry fee.
That's awesome. I've always wanted to pay $20,000 to make bean bags.
Yeah, amen. You don't get into it to make a profit. You get into it to, get a stamp. So Tier 2 is a minimum capacity of 200 sets of 4 bags per week. Ability to generate over $5,000 a year in licensing revenue. Average order turnaround of less than 2 weeks. A maximum active series in a model year of 10, with 5 of those being ACL Pro stamped. And the application fee for this, if the 20 was too much for you for Tier 1, then just pay them $10,000 and you can get into Tier 2. So, that's that one right there, I think, is the Joe Everyman bag maker. I think it's just going to be jumping all over this $10,000.
Yeah. Very low barrier of entry.
Very,
small bag
I
company.
mean, if you think about it, and it's like, you know, it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna break them down further. I'm just kind of going through the tiers right now just to set the stage.
For sure.
Tier 3 is a minimum capacity of 25 sets of 4 per week. No minimum revenue requirement. Average order turnaround of less than 3 weeks. Maximum active series in a model year of 10. Eligible for comp or rec. So you can have comp stamped or rec stamped bags in this tier. And the application to get into tier 3 is $2,500.
Okay.
So those are the 3 tiers as laid out by the ACL.
Yep. What does this mean for small bag companies? Like, I don't really understand. Like, it's always been such a community-based sport, and the whole kind of thing about it that was so cool was you could throw any bag you wanted to as long as it, met the requirements. And like, just because a guy, doesn't have huge financial backing behind him or her, doesn't mean that they can't make a great bag. Like, and so now we're going to see a situation where it looks like the rich are just going to get richer. And, we've always kind of defended the ACL because we love the organization. We love what it's doing for the sport and everything. And so we're always, kind of on their side saying, no, look, guys, like, they have to make money. Like, if they want to grow and it's going to be as big as we all want it to be, they're going to have to make money.
Right.
But this seems a touch unnecessary. And what do you think about it?
Well, I think you're right. You hit the nail on the head. I've always been in support. You always have the people in the Facebook comment threads that are like, the ACL should have bigger payouts. There's no reason in the world why, they take in X amount of money. They should be paying out X amount of money.
Sure.
And that's ignorant. And I don't mean ignorant as in like that person's a moron. I mean that person's uneducated. That's an ignorant way to think about it. And so we've always defended it. We're like, no, see, the ACL has to make a profit. They've got to be a profitable company. Mm-hmm. If we want them to grow, they need to have access to advertising funds. They need to have access to, the ESPN broadcasts and the CBS broadcasts, and they need to be able to promote the sport. And so that takes money. So yeah, if they take in $1 million, and I know they take in well more than that, but if they take in $1 million, they can't pay out $1 million. That's not feasible. They will not profit in doing that. So yeah, for when people are jumping out here talking about how the payouts need to be bigger, that's, maybe they need to be bigger. I don't know, but they don't need to be every single dollar that the ACL brings in. But to address the new point though, yeah, that was where we were. But now it's like, with the release of this bag policy, it's almost like, looks like you may be overstepping a little bit. Definitely shutting people out. It's becoming way more of an elite club because, I mean, you can think right now who the most popular bag makers are in the sport, right? Mm-hmm. And the top 4 are going to have no problems with tier 1.
Of course not. Yeah, of course not.
The top 4 are not going to have any problems with tier 1. Then you're going to start running into, maybe the next couple of down, tier 2, maybe, and maybe honestly, not even top bag makers, but there might be some smaller bag makers out there who have the capacity to do 200 sets a week if need be. And now I will clarify this, that I don't think that they're requiring you to continually make 200 sets per week or 500 sets per week in tier 1. Yeah. But you have to be able, if you had 500 orders come in that week, you have to be able to accommodate and ship within 2 weeks at least those 500.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm assuming they're giving you 2 weeks, so it's like a week to make the bag and then a week to get it to you.
Okay, yeah. So they have to have that 2 week, 2 week turnaround. I got ahead of myself there because there is also something else new. There is a 2-year policy. There's a 2-year limit on how long you can throw a bag in the ACL now. So yes. That is crazy to me. That makes no sense to me. That, like, just from a practical perspective, That just seems wasteful. Like, what are you going to do with those bags now that are perfectly fine? People throw bags for a very long time. I get it if it's, raggedy beyond all reason and it's a dirty dish rag and,
It doesn't fit in the specs,
Yeah, exactly. It's, worn out of the specs or something like that are required. But,
Right.
I mean, what do you think about this? Like, you can only throw a bag for 2 years in this organization now?
Well, I don't know if this is their way of making sure that those raggedy bags just automatically get pushed out. Rather than them having to be called to a board, having a director called to a board because somebody's throwing a dish rag. They're throwing an OG stamped Game Changer that's like 8 inches wide and, half an inch thick, So rather than having to approach having someone, because, it's all an honor-based policy. I've been to a lot of ACL events, and no director has ever said, okay, now what bags are you going to be throwing today? Oh, these bags right here. Okay, well, let me run them through the specs real quick, make sure that, okay, you're good. I've never had that happen.
Yep.
I would love to hear if any of you have. So if anybody listening has had that happen and anyone's ever actually approached you. But basically what it amounts to is the person you're playing against telling on you.
Yeah, that's the only way the director's going to find out.
That's the only way the director's going to find out. And there are some petty folks who would probably do that. But other than that, that's the only way somebody was going to find out. Is you're going to go to the director and say, "Hey, this dude over here has got a bag that's a foot by a foot, and I don't feel like that's fair because like it misses off the side of the board and still goes in the hole." So it's like, and then unfairly, the person who brings that to the other person's attention becomes that guy. And so that sucks because nobody wants to be that guy. But I'm sorry, but an old stretched out bag gives you an advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's why they're people's favorite bags.
That's why they're people's favorite bags.
It's because they're more hole friendly than any bag that you can buy. Maybe,
benefit of the doubt, maybe this policy is being put into place that forces people who would be like, "Oh, I'm not changing my bags out. I know they're not in spec, but I'm not changing them out." It's keeping that person from being able to play that bag in an event 2 years later. But that being said, if they're going to play with a raggedy, worn out, dish rag bag, they're going to play with a bag that's got a 2020 stamp on it in 2023 and not care. Because again, you're still running into the person having to be that guy and saying, "Man, that bag, that's expired. You can't throw that bag. You have to throw a newer stamped series bag." So I don't know. Maybe I'm just playing devil's advocate on that, but I'm not a fan of it because I know I've been playing for about 2 years now, and I have bags that I have thrown a lot that still are in great shape. Now, I am a bag snob. I take care of my bags. I baby them. I'm not throwing them in parking lots. I have bags specifically for throwing in parking lots.
He reads them bedtime stories.
Yes, I tuck them all in at night, and they have their favorite songs that they like me to sing, and so I get it. But my point is though, I can take a set of bags that I've had for 2 years, and I have thrown a lot, and they still meet the specs, and they still look clean, and there's no frays in the materials or anything like that. I mean, they're just as great as they were, back then when I got them, and so. For me, it's like if you take care of your bags, you should be able to throw them. If I'm throwing a Viking from a 2020 stamped Viking and it's 2024 and this bag is still in great condition and there's no reason in the world it doesn't fail any of the spec tests or anything like that,
why should you have to spend $120 more for no reason
on a
if
bag.
the bag is
exactly.
great?
If the bag still works. So for me, I don't know. I feel like it's just one more reason because guess what? The bag manufacturer of that particular bag that you now have to get a new version of, they're going to make some money, but you know who else is?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
The ACL is going to make their royalties off of that or their licensing fee off of that. Because another thing we didn't mention is in Tier 1, these bags that are being sold, so you pay your $20,000 to get into Tier 1, but you also have to pay 15% licensing fee to the ACL for every set of bags sold.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll use $100 because that's a nice round number, even though there are many bag makers who make bags, for less than that. But because it's just round. So you sell a $100 set of bags, you make 85, ACL makes 15 on that set of bags. They have been gracious enough to not include taxes and shipping into their 15%. So
very kind.
That's great. That's very kind. But they are taking $15 for every set of bags that you sell. So if they make someone upgrade their bags every 2 years, think about how many people are playing ACL cornhole right now. You can't look at this as though like, oh, big deal. So a few people got to buy a new set of bags. No. Thousands of people got to buy a new set of bags.
Yep. Oh yeah, it's a huge community. And I think that what we're seeing here is this kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out type situation where I'm trying to imagine the future, and I just wonder, are we going to move towards like a regulation, type game where we have regulation bags. There is an ACL bag. There is an ACL board, like Spalding with the NBA. This is the ball you use, and now who is the best at this game given these exact perfect conditions? And I think that that's fine because, I think that what these guys do is, definitely impressive enough to be qualified as a professional sport, and they deserve all of the the praise that they get for the hard work that they put in. But when we talk about on ESPN, we talk about, okay, so this game is going to be really, really interesting because Jimmy Humans is throwing this zero gravity Neptune, and now Cheyenne Renner is really great at pushing through blocks, but this bag is a lot more tacky, so it's a lot more difficult to push through, and there's an opportunity for her pushes through to actually just go off to the right or left. So it's going to be a really interesting game. The strategy is a huge part of the game, and so now, if you want to take it all away, that's fine, and we can just see who's the best at the game. But it feels like that they're still marketing it as like, this is so cool because you have so many different variables, and this person's throwing this bag, this one's throwing this, and it's like, I feel like that's all kind of gonna go away.
Well, and I don't know that it will, only because this policy has made me feel like there's just too much money to be made. There's too much money to be made if there are all these bag manufacturers buying into these tiers, giving up licensing fees for every single set of bags sold, and then any new bag that you want to bring in, outside of your payment for that season is like $2,500 to get them to even approve a new series of bags. So if you're a bag maker out there and you have, your series, and you all of a sudden through R&D you develop this new this new fabrics and these new this new resin or whatever, and you've got this new bag you want to design, you got to pay $2,500 to get them to even look at it. Yeah, I just feel like there's just too much money out there to be made in allowing any person who has enough money to buy, to pay into these tier programs. Mm-hmm. Because hell, one of the things that even you notice is that Tier 2, it says ability to generate over $5,000 a year in licensing revenue. Tier 1 just says ability to generate substantial licensing revenue. Substantial. It doesn't give you a cap.
We'll tell you what's substantial enough for us.
It's not even giving you a floor. Yeah, it's not giving you a floor. Like over $7,500 a year or over $10,000 a year. I would wager that it's substantial, because that's what that word means.
Yeah. If we pull out a dictionary right now, I think we interpreted it correctly.
Yeah. So I just feel like there's too much money. But one thing that I could totally see is this bleeding over into the board manufacturers.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Yeah. How crazy
requiring
would
an
that be?
ACL pro stamped board. Hey, if you're going to put on regionals in your area, or if you're going to put on an open in your area, then you're going to have to get all sets of ACL pro stamped boards.
How
And
exciting.
so the board manufacturers are now going to have to buy into tiers, and they're going to have to give up licensing fees, and they're going to have a specific turnaround for boards, which is, anyone knows, boards sometimes can take 2 months to get to you, especially if you're getting like a custom set or something like that. I mean, they can take a long time. So,
I'm sure there will
are
be
you going
only
to
like a
require them
5-year
to?
turnaround for those.
Yeah. Well, I mean, or are you going to make the board manufacturers have a 2-week to 3-week turnaround as well? Maybe a month because of what they are. But I could totally see them being like, now we're going to dip our hands into the board market. Look, I know at my local regionals. We don't have a set of ACL boards like with the ACL branding on them.
Yeah.
But we have 16, 17, 18, maybe 20 sets of boards that we've gotten from a local manufacturer who does an awesome job. They are awesome boards.
They're great boards.
But how long before someone's like, you've got a regional with, 60 lanes or an open with 60 lanes. Every one of those boards needs to be ACL Pro stamped.
They do. I mean, they just need to be. We need 15
we need to make
on
sure
every
we
single
have
one of those.
Yeah, I know. So, those are $500 sets of boards, and we're going to need our 15%
Yep.
on each one of those. And if you are caught, using boards that aren't ACL stamped, then there will be penalties. You could have your directorship revoked, or you could have... you could be financially penalized. I mean,
and this stuff doesn't seem that
this is
outlandish.
speculation. But just based off of where we're going with the new bag policy, it's like, okay, well, why don't we just go ahead and regulate everything? If we're going to regulate it, let's just regulate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I just feel like we're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and we they kind of don't know what they're trying to be, or maybe it really is a transition period, and maybe they will fully transition to something. Yeah. But right now, it's confusing, and for us, I mean, it's part of the reason these bags are going to be ACO stamped. They're going to be ACO bags. I mean, just because we are not professional cornhole players, and we understand. I mean, it's a cool slogan. Anyone can play, anyone can win. But we talk about it all the time. Like, if I go into the advanced division, I'm gonna be donating my money. I just am. And there's only a select few guys that are winning all the money all the time. And it's kind of the Matthew principle, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and that's totally fine. I'm not here to argue for any weird socio-political, ideas or anything. I just, It's true. It's how it is. And it's becoming more difficult for the average person to be a part of that anyone can play, anyone can win type scenario.
It's becoming anyone can play if you're not broke. Anyone can win if you're not broke.
Yeah, if you're not broke.
And, I mean, you're absolutely right, and I don't have the numbers, and I'm sure that they're available. But you and I were talking on the phone, and I said, I bet if you took the top 25 earners in the ACL, we would probably know all their names. We would probably recognize all their names. That it may not be, I mean, they may not be, I mean, they're definitely going to be the superstars who are going to be on that list. And there may not be some people that everybody know. But, with us keeping our foot or our toe dipped into the cornhole as much as we do, I feel like we probably would know every name on that list, and that's our point. Is, do you know how many pros there are that nobody knows? There are so many pros that you'd be like, oh, this is Baxter McGillicuddy.
Yep,
he's an ACL pro. And I'm sorry, Baxter, if there really is a Baxter McGillicuddy, I am not meaning to roast you. But
our bad Baxter. You're a great player.
You're terrific. You're just not going to ever make any money.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry about that. But that's the thing, though, is and then every once in a while, somebody breaks through. You get a Mark Richards in there. who's throwing
Heck yeah.
daggers and just, slaying folks. And then you get a creek killer. You get one of these dudes that's just like, where in the world did that guy come from? But let's be honest. The top players are the top players are the top players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just they are. The same names are at the top of these lists. And so, to get back to the point, yeah, unless you're one of these top names, especially in the pro division, you are donating your money. It would behoove you to not be a pro and save your money and just be an advanced player and try
travel
your luck
around
there.
the country and just give your heart and soul to it and pour all of your finances and your time and just all of your resources into trying to do well, which is fine. It's worth it to them. And we're not saying that we want a world where everybody gets a trophy.
Like, follow your dreams. I get that. Yeah.
We're not saying that the best players are the best players because they're the best players. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And I would never want to live in a world where that wasn't true. I don't know how that would work, but I still wouldn't.
Hey, the best players are not the best players in this world, in this parallel universe.
Some weird alternate Stranger Things upside down universe.
Yeah. Exactly.
Where I'm the best player.
Yes, but you can't be called the best player because if you're called the best player, then you're not.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cornhole.
But yeah, cornholeception. So, but yeah, to that point is like you said, it's just getting to the point where it's just like, you went from this being a backyard game, which, my God, baseball once started off in a backyard, or football started off in a backyard or whatever, until somebody came along and regulated it. So we get it. And nobody is advocating for cornhole to stay in the backyard. My God, I have the most fun in the world going to like events that are major events and just, God, it's a spectacle to behold and to see all the boards set up and everybody throwing. It's just, it really is just really cool when you're passionate about a hobby or something in your life. And then you see that there are so many people who also love this and also want to put their time and effort into becoming better at it.
Heck yeah.
There's nothing like it in the world. So we do not want to be mistaken for saying that this shouldn't be corporatized or this shouldn't be handled in the way that it's being handled, because we want it to grow. I want it to be an Olympic sport. I think it's every bit as intriguing as curling or, and I love curling. I'm not hating on curling. I got into it.
Cool
I got real into it this year, but but it's a skilled game. It is something that not everyone can be good at, and I can promise you, just like in the 50-meter dash or the 500-meter dash or whatever, the people who are the best at those, it's the same thing. The dudes who are at the top of the cornhole game, you can't compete with them. You can't outrun Usain Bolt.
Nope.
But you can't beat Matt Guy either. You know what I'm saying? And I know that they're totally different skill sets. I get that. I'm not comparing an Olympic sprinter to a cornhole player. I mean, I kind of am, but I'm not. I don't need anybody telling me that that's a stupid comparison. I get it. But the fact remains is that, I mean, hell, even when you look at the Canadian cornhole players right now, when they do like the U.S. versus Canadians, their cornhole players are decent up there, but right now America's where it's at. We're the powerhouse. We dominate. And that just goes to show you it's only a matter of time. Just like with basketball, when you go back to the Dream Team and stuff like that, and they were just wrecking people.
Yep.
But now it's not that way. The U.S. doesn't just walk into a victory when they go to play basketball.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be that way with cornhole as well. The world is going to see the value. The world is going to see the value of it. They're going to see the skill involved, and they're going to grow, and they're going to get better. And then it's not going to be just a given that, the U.S. is going to show up and take it. But anyway, I feel like it should be an Olympic sport. I feel like it should be a profitable venture. And I've always supported the ACL. I love the ACL. I truly do, because
Me too.
I feel like divisions are what set it apart. I love the fact that I can show up and play with people at my skill level. And maybe I'll win and maybe I won't. But that means I'm playing where I need to be playing.
Yeah.
If I go into any
point.
game, if I go into every single game thinking I could win this game or I could not win this game, then I'm playing where I'm supposed to be playing.
Yeah.
Right? Versus going over into a league that doesn't have divisions, and it's like, oh, there's absolutely no way in hell I'm beating this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's on my best day, and if he throws left-handed, I'm not beating this guy. So the point is, and I know that was a big tangent, but the point is that we're not advocating for the ACL not making money, but I believe that there is a fine line between being a profitable company and stepping over that line into we're being a little greedy now.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that you could just let the bag companies duke it out. Like, let the free market do what it does. If everybody really likes fire bags the most because they have, the best players and, it's cool and the kids look up to them. And, like, if that's really how it is, then just let it be that way. And
Right.
let people throw whatever bags they want to throw as long as they meet the standard. But, I just don't see how blocking people out of the bag manufacturing community and saying, like, hey, like, you got to have, bank to get started in this. And, like, it's like, I feel like that's going to diminish the growth of the sport. Like, would you not want people to financially invest in this game and financially, get into the game? And I don't know. I just feel like it could be better.
I agree with you completely. And unfortunately, for a smaller bag manufacturer who, let's say he even can get into tier 2. Let's say that he's got enough money to get into tier 2, and he's got a good enough facility to where he can do a turnaround. That he needs to do a 200 a week turnaround if need be, and he's got 2 weeks that he can get them out.
Mm-hmm.
Most small bag companies, who even the ones who could, I think, afford, like, possibly like a Black Sheep, because I feel like they're a bigger kind of tier 2-ish kind of company. They make really good bags, and so this is not to shade you guys, and if I'm stepping way out of my lane, I'm so sorry. I'm just saying that you don't see them a lot on the podiums in the top of the ACL and stuff like that, but I do know the bags are being thrown, and I do know they have a good following. Okay,
Devin Harbaugh.
Devin Harbaugh, he flings them, and but what I'm saying is like, even a company like that, do you make enough money off of your bags to hire on like a Jamie Graham? Or are you going to be able to pay Eric Davis enough to get him to move away from fire? I just don't know. I think fire's just got too much money at this point to compete with. And
too much money to compete with. They don't have too much money. That's obviously it's they're a successful
no
business.
such thing. No, they're a successful business. And again, I'm not even hating on fire. I'm simply saying that they had the ability to buy the top 4 greatest cornhole players walking the earth today.
Yep.
And then awesome. You being able to come in as a smaller bag company and take somebody like that away, that's going to give you the recognition for your bag, it's a hard sell for me to believe. It's a hard sell for me to believe that like a tier 2 guy is going to be able to, it's awesome. You get 5 pro stamped bags with the tier 2, and you only have to make 200 sets a week at the maximum. And you have to get them out within two years, and that's great, and that's fine. And you just have to sell enough bags to cover the $5,000 licensing fees of the ACL, and I believe at tier 2 it's not 15% of the bag for licensing. I believe it's 10% at that. So whatever,
at least it's
5%. Whatever the 5% is of $5,000, you just have to sell enough to get it there. So maybe you can do all of that, and you've got your pro stamp bag now. Who's going to see it?
Yeah,
how are you going to grow your brand? How are you going to say this bag is literally as good as that bag? This bag that I've got right here is literally as good as the Viper, or is
Yep.
literally as good as the incinerator, right?
Yeah.
Because you just can't afford to have somebody throw it and put you out there, you know?
Yeah, it's all going to be about who you know. I mean, which I guess everything is at the end of the day. But I mean, yeah, I feel like the only way, some pros going to end up throwing your bag is if they like know you're like their cousin or something, or they feel bad for you. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll just, throw incinerators with fire and just make a bunch of money.
Yeah, okay. It's like, yeah, dude. I mean, even then, it's like, yo, I know you're my cousin, but
Good.
they're
Yeah.
throwing that bag at me over here. So, I mean, you basically would have to have someone who's money blind and absolutely believes in your product and loves your bag.
Yep.
Somebody that's going to be like, no, I appreciate all the money that you're trying to throw at me, but I'm independently wealthy, and so I don't need your money. And this bag is the absolute truth, and so I'm going to throw this bag.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So
A guy who
small
had
bag
his-
companies, small bag manufacturing companies, good luck finding that dude.
Yeah, for sure. I think you can go to that a local mental hospital and find someone with their prefrontal cortex removed, their ability to reason, and then you could get athletes from there. But other than
Right.
that, yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult. Well,
Yeah.
that was certainly an interesting conversation, and at the end of the
was.
day, there's not much that we can do about it, but we figure we just want to talk about things that matter to people,
relevant.
matter to the community, and they affect people and they affect the community, and we could be totally wrong about all of this. This is just an overall analysis of how we feel about the situation.
Right.
Somebody from the ACL could pop in right now in the comment section and just put all of this to rest and say that every single bit of it is justified, and we're ridiculous for even saying that for speaking
Right.
about King Henry VIII. I mean the ACL, and so I just think it's just a tough situation.
It is a tough situation, and like you said, if you'll see comments on Facebook, you always will, and there's always going to be those few guys that come in to White Knight, for the ACL and talk about how nope, everything they're doing is absolutely justified, and you as the casual Facebook scanner of comments, you need to set aside the fact that all these people are actually on the ACL's payroll, and just know that they do have the best interest of you, the small player, at heart. And so they're only giving you the factual information that they truly feel, and it has nothing to do with the fact that they're paid by the ACL to be on their staff. That is irrelevant. It has nothing to do with it. And I do want to end with that too. And look, and I love the ACL. I do. I'm not even being sarcastic. I love the ACL. They have presented so many opportunities for players of all skill levels to get out there and do what it is that we love. And so I guess I'm going to take a dad moment as Papa Flop. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to go, I'm not mad at you, ACL. I'm just a little disappointed. And,
Cool.
I'm not mad though. I'm not upset. And I love you unconditionally. And, I just want you to make the right choices.
Well, I think that's a great way to end it.
Okay.
Hopefully they feel horrible about what they've done.
Well, they're going to stay in their room until they figured it out.
Yeah. Nice.
And then we'll address this later.
Cool.
So.
Well, hope you guys have enjoyed listening to this episode. We love doing this, and we would love to know what you guys think about this.
Yeah.
So please, tell us if we're wrong. Tell us if you feel
we
differently.
crazy?
Comment
Yeah.
down below. We could be insane, which, I think is a huge possibility.
Yeah. I've been accused of it many times.
Yeah. Definitely go check out Renown Bag Co. At the website down in the description. And these will be, stamped and being put out here in the near future. And we're really excited about these, and we look forward to everything to come.
And so from what I've been told, just real quick, because the stamp was just newly acquired, it may just take you to a landing page. But you can bookmark that, and then we'll definitely be posting when bags are live on the site. So we'll definitely post that on our Facebook page. And once I'm able to get some of the other series in my hands and stuff, we'll talk about them a little bit on the show as well. So yeah, please check it out. Check out all of our sponsors. Go check out Triple Crown. I know they have got some really exciting things in the works, and I am so excited about the things that they're trying to do. And we don't have specifics just yet that we can divulge, but big things are coming. So big things are coming from Triple Crown. Big things are coming from Renown Bagco. God, we hope big things are coming from the flop. If nothing else, other than just everybody continuing to get better while we just stay the same.
Yep,
not
that's
sure
all we
why
want.
why that's the way that it is, but
Homeostasis.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys.
Homeo stays the same.
Yeah, forever. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Take care.